Guy.
And I'm Barbie.
And I'm Gail, and we are your lovely hosts for today. And for today's topic, we are going to talk about something my co-hosts are quite passionate about, and that is literary works!
Yes, tama ka dyan, Gail. And for today's literary work, of course, we're going to be talking about the talk of the town today.
The movie starring Ethan and Joy, Hello, Love, Goodbye. This is Jairus Simbulan. We interrupt this current broadcast of Hello Talks on TV to bring you a live broadcast of the highest grossing Filipino films of all time, Hello, Love, Goodbye. Joanne Cobalias is live at the Star Cinema Philippines for more details. Joanne?
Yes, Jairus, it's very busy out here. Good evening, viewers. Joanne Cobalias here, coming to you live from the studio press conference of Hello, Love, Goodbye, which will feature the one and only Mrs. Cathy Molina, the director of the film, Miss Charlene Singa, professional movie critic, and Miss Camela Naira, a cinephile. According to our sources, the press con will take place in just a few minutes. Jairus?
Thank you, Joanne. Stay tuned to Paramount. We'll be keeping you updated on the press conference once it starts.
So, napanood di ba yung kalalabas na movie lang ni Kat?
Yes!
In fact, everyone here has already watched the film, di ba, Cams?
Yes! Kaya nga mga katalkers, for this episode's highlight, we present you the literary map to further analyze the film.
Ayan, so we have the histobiographical approach for the author-dependent interpretation, the formalism explication, and the deconstruction approach for the text-dependent interpretation, as well as the reader response, the Marxist and the feminism approach for the reader-dependent interpretation. So, we can find the grand synthesis.
So, ano pang hinihintay natin? Sabay-sabay nating panoorin ng official trailer ng Hello, Love, Goodbye.
May mga lugar na pangmatagalan.
May mga lugar na dinadaanan lang. Parang Hong Kong.
Kaya bawat oras, dapat sulitin mo. Kasi walang nagtatagal dito.
Pero isang araw, you'll meet someone.
And for a while, time just stops.
Welcome drink!
Sino nagpapabigay?
Hello, Joy?
Paano mo nalaman number ko?
Ako yata nagbigay.
Nagtatrabaho ako. Huwag mo akong guluhin.
Mas nakaka-intriga pala pag pinapalayuan. Sa susunod, pag ayaw ko yung babae, sabihan ko agad ng I love you para matakot tsaka lumayo.
I love you.
Kaso gusto kita eh. So sorry, I don't love you. Hindi talaga maubusan ng gagawin, no?
Wala ka talaga ibang ginagawa sa buhay mo, no?
Oo ka.
I love you.
I don't love you eh. Dito lang ako.
Alam mo, Tol, pinapaalala ko lang, aalis si Joy.
Paano kung mapakita ko sa kanya na hindi na niya kailangan umalis para magkaroon ng magandang buhay?
Hindi pwede magkaroon ng us.
Bakit hindi pwede?
Nahabol pa akong future. Para sa pamilya ko. Hindi kita pwedeng mahalin.
Then I'll take whatever you can give.
Star Cinema presents, for the first time, Catherine Bernardo and Alden Richards in a film by Cathy Garcia Molina.
Lahat ng binibigay ko is not enough to make you stay.
Ginawa mo yun para pilitin akong piliin ka?
Kung mahal mo ako, bakit hindi ako ang piliin mo, Joy?
Kung mahal mo ako, bakit pinapapili mo ako?
Hello, Love, Goodbye. July 31 in cinemas.
Live again at the Star Cinema Philippines, the press conference is now starting.
Welcome to the Hello, Love, Goodbye press conference regarding the author-dependent interpretation of my movie, Hello, Love, Goodbye. I'm Mrs. Cathy Grace Molina, the director of the film. So, let's start. The author-dependent interpretation, I think the histobiographical approach will do in order to arrive in a synthesis. So, my movie is about a domestic worker in Hong Kong and the struggles she is facing every day there. For context, here is a snippet from the movie. Napakagaling talaga ni Catherine. Did you know, during the entire duration of the shooting in Hong Kong, I didn't allow them to have any communication in the Philippines dahil I really want the cast to feel even the littlest amount of how hard it is to be away from your family. So, mas realistic ang dating ng delivery of lines.
Mrs. Molina? is disconnected in many cases of Filipinos with unreported employer abuse dahil they work 15.6 hours per day on average with little wage?
Thank you for the wonderful question. Yes. I was really hoping to shed light on that particular topic using Joy's perspective. Because in the film, due to this unaddressed problem, many Filipinos like Joy are forced to look for jobs that are outside their contract. Wherein in Joy's case, she works as a waitress where she meets Ethan, as well as selling a variety of items. So they live there every day with the fear of being caught by the immigration. Pero wala no choice sila. Dahil hindi naman sapat ang perang kinikita nila bilang DH.
Mrs. Molina, your past works have always been in the genres of rom-com. May kinalaman po ba ang pagtakan nyo ng heavier issues sa movie na ito sa rumors ng iyong retirement?
Yes, as you know, my husband died in 2009 and because of my work, may dalawa akong anak na napapabayaan. So I'm planning to retire because what is this success if not for my children? If by giving you good movies, I am not with my children, then I'd rather retire. Nagkataon lamang na last movie ko na ito and I really want it to be the most important thing in life, which is family. So, my synthesis would be, love protects and conceals people from any forms of suffering because it pushes people to go beyond their limits and continue to believe the best in every situation. Love never quits, it never surrenders because it is the very fuel that drives people to endure all.
That was really heartwarming, Miss Kathy.
Oh, thank you, Miss Charlene. And thank you for accepting our invites for the analysis of my movie.
Wala yun, Miss Kathy. I really enjoyed explicating and deconstructing the film. Sorry for crying, everyone. Anyway, for your information, our dear live viewers, I am invited here for the text-dependent interpretation of the film. So I used two approaches. The formalism, explication approach, the deconstruction approach. So the film took place in the city of Hong Kong, is where our character Joy is working as a DH. Then she meets Ethan Del Rosario, our main lead, who works as a barista at the bar where he met Joy. Then we have the supporting characters, whom is always around Joy, ang kanyang mga kapwa DH. They play the role of Joy's friends, who they help make the film's realism grow because they have their own stories to tell. Then we have the people whom Ethan can often be seen interacting with, his friends at the bar, Jim and Carlo. Then we later on meet his family, Mario and Edward Del Rosario, whom, by the way, he has a not so good relationship with because apparently, si Edward ay may hinanakit kay Ethan dahil imbis na si Ethan ang tumayong breadwinner, Edward was the one who sacrificed a lot since he was the more successful one. The film started with Joy to pursue her dream to go to Canada and work as a nurse. Joy goes through hurdles and secretly participates in part-time jobs which are illegal in Hong Kong. She became a waitress where she met Ethan, who she later on became friends with, or friends lang nga ba talaga. Over time, they became closer and their feelings for each other bloomed. Joy, up until now, was only thinking for the sake of her family, for others. But then, who will she choose this time? Her family? Her lover? Or her dreams she, for a very long time, wanted to pursue? Then they went into a very stressful talk where this line was born.
Mahal mo
It was
ko,
very
bakit
iconic, by
pinapapili
the
mo
way.
ako?
But after spending some time after, our main leads reached the understanding of each other's circumstances and decided to go, even if it meant being away from each other. Then Joy learned as to why her mother didn't want to go home to the Philippines, pertaining to her Chinese husband as someone she loves and how she hates Joy's father for abandoning her because of money. Of course, Joy was devastated, as if all the plans she built were shattered. So her decision, she finally chose herself. She pursued her dreams in Canada and left Hong Kong to find her own happiness and satisfaction. I therefore conclude that there were two conflicts displayed, man versus himself, man versus society, hence why there were prevalent themes in the movie. With that, I arrived with a synthesis. At the right time, with the right opportunity, sacrifices are made with pain for gain. It's not enough to know what dreams to pursue because one must take action to bring it to life. And through every action taken, she honors every sacrifice he or she makes. As for the deconstruction approach, what could we deconstruct about Joy's character is that not all people named Joy are really experiencing joy. For Ethan's case naman, his character shows a lot of strength and stability. The way he acts and he dresses, even though he has his own problems to attend to, since, society told them that it is not masculine to even show an ounce of weakness. Next, it really showed how a mother's love for her child is like nothing else in the world. It knows no pity as it drives a person to do even the worst things. But it also depicts how household and childcare tasks are still predominantly seen as a woman's job, the reason why they're underpaid. You know what's really interesting though? It's this scene. This scene is really touching because it shows that love is really selfless. However, we can see that this also depicts common misconception wherein akala ng karamihan OFWs live a comfortable life. Little did they know they live the opposite, like Joy. So with these deconstructions, I arrive at a synthesis. Sometimes, harder choices are given to those who lack the privilege of staying. Like the people who choose to work far away from home to provide for their loved ones, regardless of the risks they will have to face to ensure the future of those they left behind. How about you, Miss Naira?
Wow, that was a very awesome analysis, Miss Charlene. As expected from a professional critic. So, I'll be using the reader response, the feminist, and the Marxist theory for the reader-dependent interpretation. So, let's start. So, for the reader's response, I really feel like the film teaches that in pursuit of dreams, there are going to be many reasons why you may have to stay and give up on the idea of achieving your dreams. But above all this, choosing yourself is still going to be the most fulfilling decision you can ever make. In fact, I was really rooting for Joy to choose herself in the end. That's why I arrived with the synthesis. It's really not the sacrifices one makes to follow one's dreams that are important. It's what one loses when they don't. The greater risk isn't the difficulty of chasing one's dreams. It's giving up without ever attempting to reach for them. So, moving on with the Marxist theory, I think Joy's disobedience to employment contract is both right and also wrong at the same time. Because of the difference in culture. Sa Pilipinas kasi, they highly encourage doing rackets, right? However, in Hong Kong, they highly value loyalty. That's why the contracts of the DH limits the freedom and the capacity of the workers to earn more money. Just as the saying goes, when in Rome, do what Romans do. So when in Hong Kong, outsiders should abide by its rules as a respect to the land and its people. However, in Joy's case kasi, she doesn't have a choice. Dahil anong magagawa niya? If hindi niya yun gagawin, her family will suffer. Kaya naman for Marxists, I arrive with the synthesis. People will choose to seek over honor in order to bring home the money to provide for the loved ones they left behind. Those backed into a corner are forced to sacrifice their honor in exchange for survival.
Miss, according here, the social issue for your feminist theory is the common cultural stereotypes that promote women's submission. May I ask, may you show us some textual evidence?
Of course! First and foremost, this scene exposes the ugly truth about how the theory of gender suggests unfair social roles that put women to constant reinforcement. We are constantly being put under pressure to always give up dream careers, chance of a happy family, and even developing relationships in order to give back to their loved ones and perform their role as women who are submissive enough to live for others first before themselves. Men and women should be equal, while men are being encouraged to do the opposite. Kami? Ina-expect nyo dito lang ang kaya? Aba naman!
Miss Naira, please calm down. You're in a live broadcast.
And this scene highlights how women struggle to make a living because of the limited occupation choices due to discrimination and misogyny. So they are forced to choose jobs that requires them to hold back their dreams, such as being an OFW. Here, Mary Dane is the perfect example of someone who thought life abroad is going to be as grandiose as one should expect, but got overwhelmed by the stress because of the different environment that they have to survive alone and away from their family. And this scene too, which, by the way, made me so angry because everyone, due to these biased gender roles, women are often labeled too ambitious when they finally choose themselves by welcoming the opportunity of a career they once sacrificed for the sake of their family, as if it's an out-of-reach goal. Kaya nga, this scene in particular really touched my heart dahil it shows how making decisions, whether for oneself or for others, necessitates a sacrifice. So, my synthesis?
A strong woman is the lifeline of her family as she carries the burden of pain and the courage to sacrifice even her own aspirations. However, a strong woman can also stand up for herself and know when to ultimately choose herself when she needs it the most, even if it means letting go of her most cherished relationships.
Treat pain with sacrifice, give love with no regrets, and decide whether to leave to chase greater heights or stay and decide it's enough. Life is a series of hellos and goodbyes with love in between. It's simply making a choice, whether it's time for another goodbye and a brand new hello.
The Hello Love Goodbye press conference officially finished. For full synthesis were discussed. This has been Jairo Sibulan bringing you the hottest of latest news, HLG News.